close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, and let it out softly through your mouth. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the surface beneath you, your shoulders, your back, your legs all becoming heavier with each breath. You do not need to hold on to anything tonight. You do not need to think about tomorrow, or yesterday, or anything at all. Tonight you are going on a journey. Not to the mountains, not to the forest, not into the stars, but downward. Down, slowly and peacefully, into the deep ocean. The ocean is the largest and oldest living space on our planet. It covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface and contains about 97% of all the water on Earth. It is home to more life than any other environment, from the tiniest bacteria, invisible to the human eye, to the largest animal that has ever existed, the blue whale. And yet, despite all of this, humans have explored less than 20% of the ocean. The rest remains unknown, unseen, mysterious. A vast blue world full of silence and wonder, waiting quietly in the dark. Tonight you will travel through all of it, from the warm, sunlit surface all the way down to the very deepest trench at the bottom of the world. You are safe. You are comfortable. You are seated in a small, perfectly designed submarine made entirely of smooth, clear glass, so that you can see everything around you in every direction. The seat beneath you is soft and warm, like your favorite armchair. The light inside the vessel is dim and golden. The engine makes a low, steady hum, like a cat purring, like a distant train, like rain on a rooftop, a sound so gentle and constant that it already makes your eyelids feel heavier. Breathe in. Breathe out. The water closes over you, and you begin to sink. You begin just below the surface, in what oceanographers, scientists who study the ocean, call the sunlit zone, or the euphotic layer. The word euphotic comes from ancient Greek, eu, meaning good or well, and photos, meaning light. And it truly is a zone of good light. Sunlight pours down through the water above you in long, silver beams that shift and shimmer as the surface moves gently in the breeze far above. The water here is an astonishing, luminous blue, not the flat blue of a painted wall, but a rich, alive blue that seems to breathe and pulse, full of depth and movement. Around your vessel, the ocean is busy and full of life. A large school of small silver fish sweeps past your window, hundreds of them moving in perfect unison, turning left, then right, then curving upward, all at exactly the same moment, as if they are one single creature rather than hundreds of individuals. Scientists call this behavior schooling, and it is one of the most beautiful sights in the natural world. The flashing of their scales in the shifting sunlight looks like a single piece of living silver ribbon twisting through the water. A sea turtle passes close to your window, moving with unhurried grace. Its front flippers stroke the water in long, slow arcs, the way a person swims breaststroke, but effortlessly, as if the water offers no resistance at all. It turns one ancient, dark eye toward the glass and regards you calmly for a moment before gliding on. Far below, you can already see the bright colors of a coral reef, reds, oranges, purples, yellows, a living garden stretching across the seafloor. The water is warm here, perhaps 25 degrees, and it feels as though you could reach through the glass and trail your fingers through it like a warm bath. You feel the warmth in your chest too. A spreading, slow, peaceful warmth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your submarine drifts slowly downward toward the reef below, and as you approach, the world outside your window becomes even more extraordinary. A coral reef is not simply a rock formation covered in colorful plants. It is one of the most complex and biodiverse ecosystems on Earth. Every coral structure you see is actually made up of thousands of tiny animals called coral polyps, each one no bigger than a grain of rice. These polyps build hard calcium carbonate skeletons around themselves for protection, and over hundreds and thousands of years, generation after generation, those skeletons stack and grow and branch into the enormous, intricate structures you see now. A single large coral reef can be thousands of years old. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is so large it can be seen from space. All around your vessel, fish of every imaginable shape and color dart between the coral branches. A parrotfish, its scales a vivid, iridescent blue-green, uses its beak-like teeth to bite directly into the coral, crunching off pieces to digest the algae inside. What it cannot digest, it releases as fine white sand, and so, remarkably, much of the white sand on tropical beaches around the world was once inside a parrotfish. A moray eel peers out from a crevice in the reef, its mouth opening and closing slowly, not in aggression, but simply because it breathes that way. A lionfish drifts past with its magnificent fan of poisonous spines spread wide, striped in red and white, moving so slowly it seems almost to be floating in place. You watch all of this from behind your glass, safe and warm and still. The reef hums with a kind of silent busyness, creatures feeding, hiding, searching, resting, but none of it disturbs the deep quiet inside you. You are an observer, a peaceful witness, watching the ancient rhythms of the sea. Your breathing matches the slow, gentle swaying of the sea anemones outside your window. In and out. In and out. Leaving the reef behind, your submarine descends further. 200 meters below the surface now. 300. The sunlight that was so rich and golden above you begins to fade, slowly, gradually, the way daylight fades in the evening. The brilliant turquoise and blue of the shallower water deepens into a quieter, darker shade. Navy. Then indigo. Then something darker still, a deep, cool violet blue that has no exact name in any language, because no human eye was ever meant to see it directly. The temperature drops. The water outside grows cooler and stiller. The warm busyness of the reef feels far away now, as distant as a memory. You have entered the mesopelagic zone, from the Greek words mesos, meaning middle, and pelagios, meaning of the sea. Scientists sometimes call it the twilight zone, because light still exists here, but barely. It is enough to see shapes and shadows, but not enough to read by, not enough to show color. Everything outside your vessel appears in deep, muted blues and purples. It is like the world just after sunset, when the sky still holds a faint luminosity but the day is clearly over. In this quieter, dimmer world, the creatures are different. A lanternfish drifts past your window, a small fish, no longer than your hand, but remarkable because its entire underside is studded with tiny organs called photophores that produce a soft, cold bioluminescent light. This light, scientists believe, serves as camouflage. By matching the faint glow of light coming from above, the fish becomes invisible when viewed from below. A siphonophore, a strange colonial organism that looks like a long, translucent ribbon, trails past in silence, its hundreds of tiny specialized units working together as one. Some units provide movement, others capture food, others reproduce. They are at once one creature and many, a mystery of biology drifting through the dark. You watch it go, and you feel yourself drifting too, drifting gently towards sleep. 500 meters now. 600. The last traces of sunlight have disappeared completely. There is no blue above you, no silver shimmer, no warmth from the world above. There is only darkness. And yet, this is the most important word tonight, yet. Because this darkness is not empty. It is not the darkness of a closed room or a sealed box. It is a living darkness, a breathing darkness, a darkness full of its own quiet, cold, extraordinary light. Bioluminescence, from the Latin bios, meaning life, and lumen, meaning light, is the ability of living organisms to produce light through chemical reactions in their own bodies. It is not a rare or unusual thing in the ocean. Scientists estimate that 90% of all deep-sea creatures are capable of producing bioluminescent light. 90%. That means the deep ocean, which we so often imagine as a place of total blackness, is in fact alive with light, cold, blue-green, ghostly light, flickering and pulsing in the dark like a slow and ancient fireworks display that no human has ever watched. Outside your vessel now, you can see it. Tiny points of blue-green light drift past like embers from a fire, or like the very slowest shooting stars. A comb jelly, a small, oval creature completely unlike a jellyfish despite the similar name, rolls slowly past, its rows of tiny cilia catching and scattering what little light there is into brief, spectacular rainbows along its surface. A deep-sea dragonfish hangs still in the water, a long, slender creature with enormous teeth and a row of photophores along its belly glowing in a soft, steady pattern, like the lit windows of a train seen from far away, at night, crossing a dark countryside. You watch the lights drifting past your window. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts grow softer, less defined, like shapes in fog. 1,000 meters below the surface. You have entered the bathypelagic zone, named from the Greek word bathys, meaning deep. Most people simply call it the midnight zone, because here, no matter what time of day it is above, it is always midnight. No sun, no moon, no seasons, no storms. The temperature outside your vessel is now between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius, just above freezing. The pressure against the hull of your submarine is over 100 atmospheres, meaning 100 times the pressure you feel when you stand on land and breathe the ordinary air. But inside your vessel, everything is perfectly balanced. Perfectly still. Perfectly safe. Time moves differently here. Not faster, not slower, just differently. Without sunlight to mark the hours, without the changing of light and shadow, there is no way to feel time passing at all. It simply is. The present moment is the only moment. This is something the ocean has always known, and has been quietly practicing for 4 billion years. You tonight are learning it too. There is only this breath. Only this soft darkness. Only this gentle, floating stillness. Through your window, a large creature moves into view, slow, unhurried, magnificent. It is a sperm whale. The largest toothed predator on Earth. Its body is enormous, 15 or 16 meters long, and yet it moves through the water with an almost impossible softness, its great tail rising and falling in long, powerful strokes that seem to require no effort at all. Sperm whales dive to these depths regularly, hunting for giant squid. They can hold their breath for over 90 minutes. They navigate in the absolute darkness using echolocation, sending out clicks and listening to the echoes that bounce back, like a kind of natural sonar, a living map of the dark. The whale passes slowly across your field of view, its enormous body filling your entire window for a long, wonderful moment, and then it is gone, absorbed back into the black. In the midnight zone and the waters just below it, something remarkable happens to the creatures that live here. Cut off from the pressures and competition of the shallower ocean, isolated in the cold and the dark, many species have evolved over millions of years to grow far larger than their shallow water relatives. Scientists call this phenomenon deep-sea gigantism, and while its exact causes are still debated, it may be related to the cold temperature. Cold slows metabolism, and a slower metabolism means animals live longer, and therefore have more time to grow. It may also be because food is scarce down here, and a larger body can survive longer between meals. The most famous example is the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, a creature that has haunted human imagination since the days of ancient sailors who reported seeing sea monsters large enough to drag ships beneath the waves. Those sailors were not entirely wrong. A giant squid can reach 12 or even 13 meters in length, including its two longest tentacles. Its eyes are the size of dinner plates, 30 centimeters across, the largest eyes of any living animal on Earth. They evolved to this extraordinary size for one reason: to detect the faintest traces of bioluminescent light in the total darkness of the deep, giving the squid enough warning to escape its only natural predator, the sperm whale. Tonight, one drifts past your vessel. It moves slowly, deliberately, its 8 arms flowing behind it like long scarves in a gentle wind. Its 2 longer tentacles, the hunting tentacles, are retracted close to its body. Its skin shifts and ripples with waves of color and pattern, purples, reds, silvers, even though there is almost no light to see it by. This color changing is called chromatophores, and it may serve as communication, as camouflage, or perhaps simply as a kind of language the deep ocean speaks to itself. The squid turns one vast, calm eye toward you. You look back. Something passes between you, a recognition, perhaps, of 2 creatures sharing the same quiet dark, and then it moves on, unhurried and ancient, into the invisible distance. 2,000 meters. 3,000. 4,000. The seafloor is now within reach. Your submarine descends the last few hundred meters and then levels out, hovering just above the abyssal plain, from the Greek abyssos, meaning bottomless, though of course it does have a bottom, and you are looking at it now. The abyssal plain covers more than 50% of the Earth's surface. It is the largest geographical feature on our planet, a vast, flat, almost featureless landscape stretching for thousands of kilometers in every direction. And it is almost entirely unexplored. The first thing you notice is the snow. Marine snow, it is called, not because it is cold, though it is, but because of the way it falls. It is composed of tiny particles, dead organic matter drifting down from the world above, the remains of plankton and fish and coral, fragments of molecules, microscopic shells. These particles are so light that they can take weeks, even months, to sink from the surface to the floor. They settle on everything, on the flat plains, on the scattered rocks, on the strange, pale creatures that move slowly across the seafloor, in a thin, constant, silent fall. You watch it drift past your window in the beam of your vessel's lights, and it is extraordinarily beautiful. The world's most patient snowstorm, falling in silence, in the dark, with no one to watch it, for millions of years. The seafloor itself is covered in this soft sediment, in some places several kilometers thick, built up layer by layer over hundreds of millions of years, each layer a record of what was living in the ocean above at that time. Paleontologists, scientists who study ancient life, can read these layers like the pages of a history book, finding the remains of creatures that lived long before humans existed, long before mammals existed, long before dinosaurs. The abyssal plain is a library, the most complete record of life on Earth, written in silence, in the dark, in the deepest place in the world. Your eyes grow heavy. The marine snow falls. Your instruments show a rise in temperature. A faint glow appears in the darkness ahead, not bioluminescent blue, but a warmer color. Orange. Red. You steer gently toward it, and as you draw closer, the scene that emerges from the dark is one of the most astonishing things you have ever seen: a hydrothermal vent field, a cluster of tall chimneys rising from the seafloor, each one billowing clouds of superheated, mineral-rich water into the cold, dark ocean around them. The water emerging from these chimneys can reach temperatures of over 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, and yet it does not boil, because the enormous pressure of the deep ocean keeps it liquid. The chimneys themselves are built from minerals precipitated out of the hot water as it meets the cold surrounding sea: iron, sulfur, copper, zinc, slowly crystallizing into towering black and white structures that can reach 10 or 15 meters in height. And everywhere around these chimneys, in the superheated, chemically rich water that would be instantly lethal to almost any creature on the sunlit surface, life. Enormous tube worms, up to 2 meters long, cluster in dense thickets around the vent openings, their white tubes anchored to the rock, their brilliant red plumes waving softly in the mineral-laden current. These plumes are rich in hemoglobin, the same molecule that makes human blood red, which they use to absorb hydrogen sulfide from the water and deliver it to the bacteria living inside their bodies. They have no mouth, no stomach, no digestive system at all. They are sustained entirely by their internal bacteria, which convert the chemical energy of the vent water into food through a process called chemosynthesis. Life powered not by sunlight, but by the heat and chemistry of the earth itself. This discovery, made in 1977, when scientists first visited a vent field near the Galapagos Islands, changed everything we thought we knew about where life can exist. Before 1977, biologists believed all life on Earth ultimately depended on sunlight. The vents proved otherwise. They hinted, as scientists now seriously discuss, that life might exist on other planets and moons where liquid water meets geothermal heat, deep below the surface, far from any star. You have been to the bottom of the world. You have seen things that almost no human has ever seen: the living darkness of the midnight zone, the patient snowfall of the abyss, the impossible gardens of life around the hydrothermal vents. Now, very slowly, your submarine begins to rise. Not quickly. Not urgently. The way a dream rises toward waking, gradually, gently, the edges softening, the colors slowly returning. You pass the abyssal plain once more, the marine snow still falling in its eternal, unhurried way. You pass the lights of the midnight zone, the lanternfish, the glowing dragonfish, the small pulsing points of bioluminescent blue drifting in the dark. You pass the place where the sperm whale was, though it is gone now, swimming somewhere in the vast dark with its quiet sonar and its great patient heart. You pass through the twilight zone, and you notice that the darkness is no longer total. There is a faint, barely perceptible blue light above you, like the first hint of dawn in the sky before the sun has risen. You are rising toward it. And now the light is growing. The deep indigo lightens to navy, then to a rich midnight blue, then to that extraordinary luminous turquoise of the sunlit zone, and suddenly the world outside your window is full of color and movement again. The silver fish are still there, schooling in their perfect unison. The sea turtle is drifting somewhere nearby. The coral below glows in all its oranges and reds and purples. But you are not stopping here. Your submarine rises through the last few meters, through the dappled, shimmering surface, and breaks into the open air. It is night above the ocean too. The sky is full of stars, more stars than you have ever seen, reflected perfectly in the still, flat water all around you, so that you cannot tell where the sky ends and the ocean begins. You are floating between two infinities, safe and small and perfectly at peace, and the last thing you notice before sleep takes you is that the ocean is breathing beneath you, slow, deep, steady, just like you.